Welcome back to my channel, everyone. I am finally doing the ITeachTooTag. I know it came out like a month ago, but it was created by Megan from Too Cool for Middle School, and there's 11 questions, so we're gonna get right into it. So question 1 is, what do you teach and where? So I am a special education teacher in Georgia. I teach ELA, math, and science. I have one small pull-out group, and then the rest of the periods I'm co-teaching. Question 2 is, how long have you been teaching? If you haven't already figured out from the name of my channel, I am a first-year teacher, and I've been teaching for 5 days because the students went back to school on the 7th, and I am filming this on the 11th. So I've been teaching for 5 days. Last year I was a substitute teacher. I started in October and I went all the way through May. I didn't do any student teaching or anything like that. So I've been teaching for 5 days. Question 3. Did you know you always wanted to be a teacher? The answer to that is no. I didn't even think about teaching. It didn't even cross my mind. Originally, I went to college as a dance emphasis major because they didn't have a dance major. It was a theater major, and then you got to choose a concentration, either dance, performance, or production. And I did that for about a year and a half, and then I changed my major to exercise physiology for about a semester. Transferred school. When I transferred an application, I put pre-physical therapy. But before school even started, I changed my major to health science because they didn't have an exercise physiology program. Then I ended up changing my major to general studies, which is what I graduated with. And ironically though, I did a minor in early childhood education. So that included some field experiences, practicum situations where I had to go to the schools and observe and teach lessons. And then obviously there's not really much you can do with a general studies degree, so I continued to take classes, and by the time I figured out that I wanted to be a teacher, I couldn't afford to go to school anymore, so I joined the Army. 4 years. I got out in 2015, and here I am teaching. Although for a while I was considering social work. I was torn between social work and education, and when I took my GRE, I had some of my scores sent to schools for their education program, and then I had the rest of my scores sent to schools for the social work program. So, number 4, what is your typical teacher OOTD or outfit of the day? And it's probably something similar to what I'm wearing right now, which is like a type of dress shirt and then dress pants of some sort. I'm not one into wearing leggings as pants, like no. So I'm always pretty dressed up. Yeah, I think we can wear jeans on Fridays. I didn't know that, but other teachers showed up in jeans, so I'm guessing jeans on Fridays is a thing. I'm not really one to wear dresses or skirts often. I have worn a couple of dresses as a substitute teacher. It was during the winter, and so they were like long sleeves, and I wore tights underneath them, or just like t-shirt dresses. I wear leggings underneath those, so that would be the only time I wear leggings, is if I'm wearing a dress or a skirt. Number 5, what do you usually bring for lunch? So usually I will bring a smoothie. Normally I would go to the fresh market, and they have this mix of spinach, chard, and kale. So I'll use that, and then frozen pineapple and mango, some coconut water, and they have this wheatgrass powder. So I'll take that, carrots, either like applesauce or those little fruit cups, and sometimes I'll take some almonds for like a snack. That's usually what I bring. If I run out of like the vegetables for my smoothies, then I might take one of those pre-made peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. Yeah, but usually a smoothie. Question number 6, what is one of your favorite books about teaching? So I love to read because reading is life. But when it comes to teaching and education, my favorite books are memoirs, like people's personal experiences, not so much like strategies and tips and stuff like that. So anything by Jonathan Coleswell is good. One book that I really like is called Losing Tim. It's by an author named Paul Gianfrido, who is also a politician, and well, his son was later on diagnosed with schizophrenia. They didn't know this when he first started school, so it deals with, you know, special education and kind of how some of the schools failed his son. They didn't follow the IEP, they didn't take the advice of the physician, they completely left the physician out of meetings, and his son went to a lot of different schools. Yeah, it's very interesting to see from a parent's experience, like dealing with the school system and how the mental health and education system don't seem to talk to one another, although a lot of students may have some mental health issues. All right, question number 7. What is one of your favorite teacher movies? So my favorite teacher movie is a documentary called Best Kept Secret. I watched it from Netflix. I think I got the DVD. I don't remember because this is way back in 2015. But you can't stream it or get the DVD from Netflix anymore. And it's about a special education teacher. I believe she was in New Jersey, and she was in a special education classroom, and some of her students were about to graduate, and she was really concerned about what's going to happen to those students once they graduate and leave the school system, because basically a good portion of their life is in school. So if they're not doing their routines and things like that, a lot of students will regress, especially if they're just sitting at home, which unfortunately ends up happening to a lot of students with disabilities. So the documentary follows her going to different programs within her city to see what options they have for her students, and the really good ones were too expensive, where they didn't offer transportation, and then there were some not so good ones where the students didn't really do anything. And then I believe she tried to get a job for one of her students, and I think he ended up getting a job, but it didn't work out. So the teacher is really interested in maybe starting her own program. So that's where the documentary kind of left off. Number 8, who was your favorite teacher? So I didn't have a favorite teacher. I don't remember hardly any of my teachers. The ones that I do remember, it's not because they did anything that affected me in any type of way. It's just because they stood out, like, appearance wise. Honestly, that's why I remember some of them. Or like my middle school band teacher, I had her for 6th, 7th, and 8th grade. That's why I remember her. And also her husband was my history teacher when I was in high school. So yeah, but no teacher really impacted my life in any type of way. Number 9, who are some of your favorite teacher YouTubers, Instagrammers, Snapchatters, etc.? So some of my favorite teacher YouTubers include toocoolformiddleschool and Smarty Style. They're probably my favorite, but I watch basically everybody. I'm not subscribed to everybody because there's just way too many people to be subscribed to, but if you're a teacher and you make any video about teaching, I've watched at least one of your videos. But some other teacher YouTubers that I've recently realized were from Georgia include Miss Jones, Tick Life, Plan to Be Perfect with Courtney, Schoolhouse Rap, A Barista Teacher, The Southern School Bell, and China Wigfall. So I've been watching them a lot. Let's see who else. I like Pocketville Primary, Real Rap with the Reynolds, Rachel Ken. She's like one of the few special ed teachers on here. But I literally watch almost everyone. Number 10. What is one of your best classroom management tips? So I am a new teacher and I've only had 5 days of experience, but I would have to say my best classroom management tip is to know why your students are misbehaving. Because you might be inadvertently reinforcing the behavior. So if a student misbehaves and you kick them out the class and that's what they want, to leave your class, then obviously they're going to continue to misbehave because to them that's a reward. So don't just assume that everything is about attention, because that's just one of the functions of behavior. So that's probably my number 1 tip. Know why students are misbehaving and make sure you know the difference between reinforcements and punishment, and also positive and negative and how those relate, because positive, like reinforcement, increases behavior no matter if it's positive or negative. Negative isn't bad, it just means you're taking something away. So if it's a negative reinforcement, you're taking something unpleasant away, but if it's a negative punishment, you're adding something that students don't like normally. So know the difference. And question 11. What is one reason you decided to become a teacher? Why did I decide to become a teacher? Well, I want to be there for students who were like me. I was quiet in school, I didn't misbehave, but there were some kind of serious issues going on at school. None of my teachers knew until I got sick at school one day. So don't just assume that only the loud, rude, disrespectful children are the ones who have problems, because that's not true. And also want to be a role model for students who look like me. I want them to know that it's okay to be intelligent, and that even though things might be rough at home, you can still make something of your life. And alright, so that was the last question. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you in my next video.